Well, the coffee is ready. It's coffee for bananas. Bacon is in the bag. And it's time to wake up.
Good morning, friend, and welcome to A Day in My Life. The voice you just heard is my husband. I am so incredibly fortunate to have my husband be my alarm clock every morning. He wakes up at 4:30 and wakes me up before he leaves to work, typically between 5 and 5:30 a.m.
Wakey wakey. Time to wake up. What time is it?
Honey, I had the coolest dream.
That's alright.
We adopted a baby cub lion.
It can be so easy to overlook the tiny things that we know we should do, but habits are what can either keep us feeling stuck or what can propel us forward. I've noticed that for me, certain habits that I've adopted over the years have played a key role in improving my life. And this is things like waking up early, making my bed every day, eating tons of veggies, and prioritizing time for self-care. I've seen a few thumbnails floating around on YouTube on soft discipline, or the slow living version of discipline. And I'll be completely honest, I haven't watched a single one of those because I don't like the term soft. One, because it makes me think of a soft sofa or my comfy mattress. It doesn't motivate me to take action. And two, because it makes me think of a softie, a pushover, or a permissive parenting style, which is absolutely not who I want to be. I believe that to every decision we make, there is a consequence. Either we move forward to the life that we desire, or we move back, but we're never stagnant. I once heard somewhere that every decision is either a +1 decision or a -1 decision. So maybe deciding what shirt to wear today is not important, but it still takes up our precious time and energy to debate over. Time that we could devote to the things that most value to us. In a way, minimalism, removing the excess in my life, allowed me to experience the benefits of essentialism in action, prioritizing the things that I most value, and in that way, living life abundantly. A wise mentor once told me two things that always stuck with me. The first, keep order and order will keep you. And second, vacation doesn't mean doing nothing. It means a change in activity. As a stay-at-home mom, I don't have to wake up early, and I often don't feel like it, even though we're generally in bed by 9. But waking up early has been a habit that has greatly improved my life. As a homeschooling mom of 2 children under the age of 5, once they wake up, I'm constantly needed, and my attention is up for grabs, so to me, rising before the sun, this is my precious me time. I wasn't always a morning person, but now that I have kids, I love mornings. I generally work out 2 to 3 times a week depending on my filming, editing schedule. And on days that I film, I wake up at 4:30 to be able to film, set up, and put everything away before they wake up. But regardless of what I do, I make sure that I have some time to enjoy a hot latte quietly, take a cold shower, and do my personal hygiene like personal care. To me, this is all my self-care and is non-negotiable because taking care of me in the morning makes me feel so much better so that I can take care of the people around me with a better attitude. I have a separate video on my approach to slow living with discipline, which I highly recommend you check out because for a long time, I really struggled with this balance. So I hope that it helps you, and I'll leave it linked at the end of this video. I've noticed that for me, I often dread working out, especially in cold winters when I'm comfy under the covers. But once I get started, I really enjoy it. As you can tell, I don't really need very much. I use some exercise bands, a dumbbell, and a yoga mat. You may also be surprised to learn that I really like rap, hip-hop, and reggaeton. But I'm cautious about what lyrics I listen to, because what we think is what we become. So I jam out to Christian rap, and as odd as it may sound, I find that this is special worship time, where it's just me and God, and remembering that I am not my body, that my body is a gift, that I should take care of it, and that I should use it to give honor to Him rather than be obsessed over my exterior. I feel so energized by the combination of getting to move my body and listening to encouraging lyrics. But I didn't always used to love working out. Actually, when I was in school, I remember I was always the kid who was picked last for sports. That should tell you how athletic I was. But over the years, I've tried lots of different approaches to working out. From cardio on a treadmill, which I found super boring, gyms, workout buddies, and exercise videos. And I finally found what works for me. Simple bodyweight exercises that require only a yoga mat and some workout bands. If you've tried to start a new workout habit and you failed, animo, my friend. It may be that you've just been approaching it the wrong way. And new habits take time. My approach to working out is actually very loose. The only goal that I have for myself is that I take at least 8 minutes. That's it. Not a specific number of reps or a specific exercise. And I give myself grace if I'm having a very low energy day, which we all have from time to time. But I always find that once I get started, I often end up doing more, and I feel great after having worked out. Like most difficult habits, getting started is often the hardest part. And by the way, I generally don't work out in my bedroom. That's a horrible combination, likely to fail since my bed is too enticing. But since filming requires lights, and I don't want my precious ravenous wolves to wake up, this is what I did today.
Cold shower time. Yeah. I'm a big fan of cold showers, but today is hair wash day and it's below freezing outside, so I might just do like a lukewarm, like a little bit cold, but definitely not all the way down. Not today.
After I work out, I follow up with a cold shower, and I use the remaining time to sip on a warm latte and work on YouTube. Then, just before sunrise, I head over to our chicken coop to open the door. To me, this is my symbolic way of saying I'm opening up shop. The sun is rising, so I have to let the chickens out of their coop. There they are. Chicky wickies. It is currently winter time, so we have a warm light. And I am definitely dressed up nice and cozy. I have my husband's poncho. Here we go. Go eat your breakfast. Come on. Something that my husband does every morning before he leaves to go to work is he makes our kiddos fried bananas in the morning. And it's totally not something that's healthy. But to me, I don't really care, because when they wake up and they see that their daddy made them fried bananas before leaving, it's exciting to them. It's like daddy saying, I love you. And he doesn't really get a chance to see them before he goes to work. So this, to me, is precious. Before we start homeschool, I like for my kids to help with breakfast with something simple like cracking eggs. The fried bananas are just a pre-breakfast snack because generally my kids wake up pretty ravenous. I've made a separate what I eat in a day video, but for now, let me share just a little bit about what I do for homeschool. This little box, I think used to belong to an old Fitbit that I had, but this is basically this, and these little write and wipe books are pretty much the entire curriculum for pre-K that I used for my oldest and that I'm now using for my youngest. And basically what I did is I made some little flashcards. I have basically letters, colors, numbers, and I am currently doing phonics. That's how I taught my youngest to read before she was 4, is I taught her the sounds of the words. So we have A, I wouldn't say this is H. I didn't teach them the names of the letters until they were older. So this is H, and this is ow, and this is not R. This is T, not T. Things like that. So this is kind of what I do with them. For my oldest, basically I just kind of went through the flashcards, but for my youngest, he's just more active. I have to kind of play with him, so we play a game called Keep It. So this is basically, I give him a card, and if he gets it right, he gets to keep it, and if I get it right, or he gets it wrong, then I keep it. And so it's just a fun way to play while teaching. If you'd like a separate video on what I do as far as homeschooling, just let me know down in the comments, because I don't want to bombard you with homeschooling if that's not something that you're interested in. So just let me know. But the other resource that I just really quickly wanted to show that helped me get my child to read before she was 4 was this. Doing it after she mastered the flashcards was hands down so amazing, super helpful. You can tell it was definitely used and will be used again, so this is why I have kept it. And it has little symbols that teaches children how to recognize where to start and how to continue reading, telling apart different sounds. So it has symbols in the beginning, and then it kind of starts to remove those little symbols.
It doesn't do like the capitalization, which I love. I love this book. It was super helpful, and my oldest really enjoyed it because it has lots of funny stories. They're really fun. So this is something that I absolutely recommend, and I'll leave the link down below in case you're interested in that. But yeah, just let me know if homeschooling is something you want to hear about, because there's a lot of different things that I have found super helpful. We can go through like our curriculum and what it is that we do, but yeah.
One of the things that I love about the way that I teach my kids is that it's catered to our needs and the strengths and weaknesses of each child. I usually devote about 15 to 20 minutes of one-on-one time with my 2-year-old, and then I have him follow up with writing practice. But for my first grader, she's now able to do some things on her own with little supervision. So after I finished a short lesson with my toddler, I put a load of laundry in the wash. My toddler loves to help with the laundry and feels so accomplished.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, thank you.
I remember that during the first couple of weeks as a homeschool mom, I really doubted myself. And I think it's very normal to have doubts when you're doing something new, when you're going against what you're usually used to. But I really doubted if my kids were getting the best education and if I was actually doing the best for my children. I didn't want to hinder them because of this decision. I wanted it to ultimately be a blessing for my family. And I doubted myself because I saw the school bus going in front of our home every day, and I wondered, should I have put my kids on that bus? Because it wasn't even lunchtime and we were already done. And it's not that we were slacking, it's not that we were goofing off, it's that we just finished everything that we had to finish. And I'm now much more at peace with that. I see little things like them helping with the laundry, with my oldest, teaching her or starting to teach her how to chop things, little things like cracking eggs. All of those things have become part of my curriculum. And I am genuinely so happy for my entire family because I see that my children have bloomed in different ways. I now finally have time to devote to myself and my personal care. I now don't have to hibernate like I used to say because I didn't have time to shave because I was overworked and overwhelmed. I had too many things to manage. Now I'm able to have my home clean most of the time. I'm able to have home-cooked meals, which makes my whole family eat better. It makes my husband happier because it eases his stress of all the things that he had to do whenever he'd come home from work. So I'm just genuinely much more happy. Myself, my husband, my children, it's the best thing that I could have done for them.
I totally forgot to film my daily skincare, so we're gonna pretend that my hair is still wet, but basically what I do after I kind of pat dry my face is I apply my face cream. And the face cream that I have is a day and night cream. It's Innisfree. This is a Korean brand. I have dry skin, and I went to a Korean drugstore that has a lady that works there who is really knowledgeable about lots of different creams, and they sell a lot of high-end stuff. But this was $35, which I mean I consider considering the fact that I have like dry skin and nothing ever seems to work for me, I consider that a good price because this has lasted me like a month and a half, and I'm still like halfway-ish, and I use a generous amount. A little bit goes a long way, but I love this cream because it actually moisturizes my face. And I've mentioned in the past that I used to have a lot of sunspots on my face. I had a lot of them lasered off, and so I now use sunscreen, and I wanted something that had like lightening agents. This one has niacinamide. So I've found that this is definitely the cream for me. Been using it for a few months now, and I love this thing. Okay, so let's do a quick get ready with me because I'm not gonna put on any makeup. Usually what I do, just so that I wake up looking a little bit more like I'm awake, is I just curl my lashes. I don't put anything on them, but I just curl them. And then I apply the Color Science Tinted Sunscreen. It comes out white in the beginning. See, my skin is white. But then as I put it onto my skin, it almost looks like a foundation. I love it, but it starts to blend into my skin. And I find that it gives me like a light, it's almost like the effect of a light coverage foundation, but it's sunscreen. And it's SPF 50, and it's reef safe, and it's kind of shiny right now, but it has to like set in. And then what I have, I'm gonna show you my tinted lip balm. The one that I have is berry, and this is basically what I wear any day. This is, for me, my lipstick, chapstick, all things stick. And it looks kind of funny applying it onto my cheek. Just kind of rub it in. Looks a little bit pink now. Yay, I have cheeks, I'm awake. and I have sunscreen on, taking care of my face. So to me, this combination of these two is awesome for the daily because it almost looks like I'm wearing makeup. I mean, to me, it's my makeup, but I'm also taking care of my skin in the process.
The activities that we have to do after homeschool definitely vary. If I have to meet with any friends and have a play date, or if there's any events at the library, I love to take advantage of the library events. They often have such awesome things that are free. A lot of times there's other kids that are homeschooled because they're during school hours. And hey, anything that's free that I can get my kids in, other activities, I love to take advantage of that. Like we recently had a crafts event and I didn't have to buy anything for them. I didn't have to do the cleanup, so I loved it. But then too, we tend to be very active in our church. I'm a lector. We do lots of other things. So I like to, yes, put them in activities, but I want for them to also have unstructured time. So if it's sunny outside, even if it's cold, I will put some layers on them and stick them outside, have them just play, get messy, get dirty, not have any particular plan or anywhere to go or anything to do. To me, this time is precious for them, that they can use their own creativity and just be. Also, it's time for me where I can just be. I can journal, I can read a book, think of YouTube ideas, just focus on me growing as well. And not to mention, I mean, kids have tantrums. Like I'm showing you the beauty of my life, but like it can also be stressful sometimes, and sometimes I need a break. Mommy needs a break, so I throw them outside, and this is like me saying, you go do you. I need a break. I need to breathe. And I've also mentioned this in a separate video that sometimes when we're stressed or when we're overwhelmed or when we're cranky or whatever it might be, when we just have a change in environment, just physically stepping outside our current environment can just give us that moment that we need to take the time to just kind of figure out what is actually bothering us, or it can often just be what we need to calm. I know especially when my daughter was young, she really, really struggled with autism back then. She'd have these meltdowns that we didn't know what to do to make them better. It just sounds would upset her, like a blender or a vacuum, things like that. And we didn't know how to bring her back to calm. One of the things that my husband used to do all the time is just take her outside. Not even do anything, nothing. It's not that he said anything magical or did anything magical, just the physical change in environment helped her. But I think that also happens with adults. Sometimes me, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, just going outside, going for a walk, having some sunshine, hearing the birds, having a physical change in environment is totally helpful. And on this particular day, it was actually 39, 40 degrees outside, and we didn't really care. We just put on some layers and go outside. Sunshine is an awesome medicine. After some playtime is generally their bath time, and then we'll have some lunch and have some piano time. So really for me, lunch marks kind of a slowing down of the day. So in the beginning is when we have lots of different activities. We clean up the house, we do homeschooling. We might go out and do any kind of activities like play dates. I generally do them before lunchtime, but then after lunch, to me, that marks that slowing down. So they have some playtime, and then have a bath, have some lunch, and then do quieter activities, calmer activities like playing the piano, doing some reading. They work on puzzles or do whatever it is that they want to work on for that particular day. But to me, I structure most of the bulk of activities, things to do during the morning time. And I specifically do that because to me, family time is so valuable, and my husband does work a lot. He's a very hardworking man. I'm very blessed to have a very hardworking man. But I also want to ease that burden for him, that when he gets home, we can just be and not have a whole bunch of things to do and to work on. And like I mentioned, we are very active in our church, so we have a lot of things that we already do. So anytime I can just be still and not have to worry about the next thing that we have to take care of, to me, that is very, very valuable, very important. So this is where I think essentialism and minimalism have really come in handy in my life, is that it has, first of all, the decluttering, the getting rid of things, the removing excess from my life has allowed me to visualize, okay, so now that I don't have all this excess, what do I value? What brings me joy? What do I want more of in my life? And for me, that became evident when I was working as a nurse and I was feeling like I was so overworked, and I was a salary paid employee as well, and that often ended up in unpaid overtime, ended up in me coming home late, me not making it for dinner, not making it to put my kids to sleep, and my husband scrambling to try to do those things because he works a lot of hours. And so we were just constantly overworked and kind of just feeling like we were in a little hamster wheel. It felt like we weren't really able to get anything done because we were constantly focusing on the next thing. And to me, this family time, this time that I get to have with my children and time that I get to have with my husband is precious time. So when we are together, I want to make sure that it's as unstructured as possible. As in, obviously, we want to do activities. We want to be able to have different experiences. But to be able to just be and slow down is important. I want to bring this back to the first two quotes that I mentioned in the beginning. Keep order and order will keep you. And vacation doesn't mean doing nothing. It means a change in activity. The reason that I want to talk about these two specific quotes again is because when we find that order in our life, when everything has a home, when our schedule is not chaotic, when our home is more organized, when our mindset is decluttered, that was a huge one for me. Yes, I wanted to declutter stuff from my home, but there came a point where I realized I needed to declutter emotions, baggage, negative mindset that I had, just things that were hindering me that weren't visible. To me, that is the biggest part of decluttering or minimalism that really changed my life, is getting rid of all those negative thoughts that were only harming me. And being able to have more order, more structure in certain ways, and like routines, has been what has allowed me to ease a lot of stress from my life. So I definitely think that some structure, some routine is important in our lives, and it can ultimately ease lots of stress when we have that. But then the other part is the whole vacation thing. We need rest, right? There's a Sabbath for a reason, and I think that our Creator knew what He was doing, because left to our own devices, we tend to overdo and think that we should do this and do this and do this and do this, and then feel guilty because we're doing nothing and we're burned out, we're overwhelmed. And I was definitely at that point in my life. I was burned out and I was overwhelmed. So this is not to say that you shouldn't rest. This is not to say that you shouldn't do nothing. That's not what it means. We definitely need rest. We definitely need to slow down. But what happens often is that we want to do so much, that we take on so many tasks and so many obligations, and a lot of those just out of feeling of commitment or feeling like we owe somebody something, or we might let somebody down. And then we take on so much, we end up feeling overwhelmed. We end up feeling burnt out. And then we feel like we need a vacation from our current life. We need an escape from our current life. But what if we could just take a step back? Look at our commitments. Start saying no, even if it makes people upset, because we know that's what we need. What if we start listening to our body? Maybe I should work out today, but I need rest today. What if we slow down enough to be able to actually say yes to the things that matter to us? Then we probably wouldn't need a vacation from this life, because this is a life that is bringing fulfillment, that is bringing joy. And I'm not here to say that my life is perfect and that I am definitely 100% happy all the time. Absolutely not. Everybody has problems, struggles, trials. I'm not showing you the part where 1, 2, or all of my members of the family are sick at the same time and our home is chaos because we just throw things wherever. I'm not showing you that section of it. But everybody has those moments. Everybody has those moments of chaos and things that are overwhelming, that we can't change, that we don't really have any power over. But if we can manage all of those other things, all of those other factors that we can control, like lowering our commitments, decluttering all the junk in our home so that we can actually find things and we're not stressing all the time over what to clean, what to maintain, what to fix. all of those little things can slowly start to improve our life, give us more time, more freedom for those things that we most value. So to me, definitely simplifying, decluttering, downsizing our life. We may live a simpler life now. I'm definitely not living an extravagant lifestyle. We're not doing like incredible things. And I remember that this will just kind of describe that point exactly. One of my family members had asked me why I was taking my kids to a certain Christmas party, because there was just going to be a bunch of junk food, and we generally don't eat that kind of stuff. And I said, well, dude, it's the experience. They get to have some face painting, they get to have some balloon animals, and it's totally free. And to me, that was like the perfect description of the way that we kind of pursue entertainment now. Like, we'll do things like hiking. I'll check out my community events and fairs and festivals and things like that we could just go to and experience and not have to spend any money. So I'm by no means living this like extravagant life, but I'm living a life that aligns with what I value, that makes me happy, that is something that's bringing my family closer together. It's prioritizing the people that I value. And it's also prioritizing myself, my own health. And I want to take this moment and just stop for a moment and talk to you about comparison. So when I originally started my YouTube channel, I never wanted to do a day in the life video. This is probably a little bit different than other day in the life videos because I never really watched day in the life videos. I always felt like they were a waste of my time, my precious time, because it felt like reality TV, and I didn't just want to watch what somebody was doing with their life. So even if I admired that YouTuber, I would not click on their day in the life videos, because to me, I want to learn something. I want to gain some value. I want to improve my life so I can be a better mother, be a better wife, be a better friend, not so that I'm just watching what you're doing with your life and comparing myself. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I did this video because it was requested, but I really had to do some thinking about how I wanted to do it differently, because the last thing that I want is for somebody to compare their life to mine. Comparison is the thief of joy. If we compare ourselves, we can never have enough. And we have to analyze our life. There's definitely good things in all our lives. The fact that we can breathe and walk and move our bodies. We can find lots of different ways to be grateful. And if we can practice more gratefulness, more gratitude, we can ease that need to compare. But then I also want to caution you. One of the reasons that I didn't watch lots of the day in the life videos, or I didn't want to watch those videos, is because I knew myself enough to know that if I was watching other people who were living the lifestyle that I wanted, who maybe seemed like they were better mothers than I, because I have lots of doubts in terms of, am I doing enough? Am I doing the right thing? That tends to happen. I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was just going to feel down about myself or wish that my life was different somehow. But see, the thing here is, any of us showing you any day in the life video is showing you a specific aspect. We're not showing you all the details. Just like I mentioned, like I didn't show you when we were sick and all of our things were chaos around the home. I didn't show you the meltdowns and the tantrums. We're showing you sections of our life. So anytime you see anybody living this awesome lifestyle that you want, don't take at it from the aspect of comparing yourself and putting yourself down. Maybe take the moment and sit back and actually ask yourself, what is it about that life that I admire? What is it about that life that I desire? How can I have those aspects of that life? Not necessarily you wanting that life or thinking of their life as better than yours, because that will be detrimental to yourself and you'll never be happy that way. I definitely used to live my life in that way. And I know that I've talked about it a lot and I have lots of other videos on this specific topic, but doing this one thing completely changed everything for me. And it was removing all of my social media accounts. Now, obviously, I have this YouTube channel and this is a form of social media. But when I started to remove the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all of those sorts of accounts, I noticed a huge change in my mindset, the way that I perceived myself. And I really, really greatly reduced that comparison that I was really struggling with. The Yessie that you see now is a completely different version of the Yessie that I knew 10 years ago. That Yessie was never content with herself, always putting herself down, hated the way that she looked, compared herself to others constantly, and was always looking for that next thing that would fill my void. Let me tell you, no stuff is going to fill your void. If you're wanting to find fulfillment in your life, you've got to have lots of love. Love for yourself, love for others. When I started to approach my life differently, when I removed social media, first of all, what I did was I removed all that comparison, because comparison is a thief of joy. But then also what I did was I freed up lots of time, because I was so brainwashed that I didn't even know what to do with myself anymore. I didn't know what hobbies I had. All I knew was my phone and just putting my phone on the screen. So once I actually lifted my head off the screen, I had to ask myself, okay, what is it that I like to do now? I don't even have any hobbies. And I started to immerse myself in service. I volunteered at homeless shelters for a few years. I did lots of volunteering at the hospital. I did lots of different service activities that it might seem like I was doing this awesome thing for other people, but really, I think it was, in a way, like selfish love, because it filled me so much more. One, because it feels good to give. It feels good to do things for other people. But then two, when I saw other people struggling with what seemed like real problems, not just mindset problems. Okay, let me backtrack. I'm not saying that if you have a mindset problem, you don't have a real problem. What I am trying to say here is that I saw people that were struggling much more, a lot more than I was, with situations that were extremely, to me, unimaginable, that I wouldn't know how to handle them. That's what I'm trying to say. Not saying that if you have mindset problems, you don't have problems. Please don't take it that way. It is a huge, mental health is super, super important. And that's not what I'm trying to say. And I'm not trying to diminish that or belittle that. But when we step outside our life and we see other people and their struggles, often that can just be what we need to realize that we have a lot to be grateful for. And when I started to focus on service, I was able to recognize that and have compassion for other people. So in me, removing social media and removing stuff, physical stuff. I had lots of stuff, purses, bags, shoes. I used to be the girl that had full face makeup with the smoky eye and all that thing. And I felt like I was ugly and incomplete without that stuff, without the false lashes, without the extensions. I know I have hair to my waist. Why did I ever need extensions is beyond me. But that was me back then. I was never content. And when I was able to remove the stuff, remove the excess shopping and the fun shopping, or the shopping for the void, remove lots of things, commitments that I had just out of people pleasing, then I was left with time to love myself and love other people. And that really led me to so much more joy, so much more fulfillment in my life. And I used to work as an ICU nurse and then worked as a hospice nurse. And I've mentioned this time and time again, and I'll probably mention it again, because that job, actually both of them in their own ways, but hospice nursing really changed my life dramatically, like no other experience. Because constantly facing death, constantly facing the reality that I am going to die. You are going to die. We're all going to die. My kids will die. And it may be before me. It may be after me. I don't know that. Working as a hospice nurse really just made me realize that and constantly be aware that I need to value my time, that my time is precious, and that my time is finite. Constantly being faced with death is actually what taught me to live. And I'm not saying that I'm now constantly grateful and that I'm always living in alignment with what I value, but I am able to recognize when I'm not. And I'm able to recognize that my time is so much more precious than wasting it on watching funny cat videos. And if for you, watching this video is a waste of time, then sign off right now, because you have other things that you are able to do. You have so much that you can give. You are a valuable individual. You are absolutely different than every single person on this planet. And that is because you matter. And there's something about you that only you can do. So I want to encourage you. I want to urge you that if you're comparing yourself, that if there is a lifestyle that you want to live, that you want to obtain, focus on tiny habits. Focus on changing little things. And I definitely think that decluttering social media and decluttering physical items can definitely be helpful. For me, it was a tool that then allowed me to ask myself, what do I value and why? Why was I loading my home with all these things? Why was I loading my closet with all these things? Why did I feel like I needed that huge chest of makeup in order to feel valuable? So decluttering really taught me a lot about myself, and it's a slow process. It's a slow and sometimes painful process. There were definitely a lot of tears shed along the way as I decluttered things that were chaining me back, but I definitely see it as something where I was removing those chains, and I'm still working on that. I think we are all a work in progress. But know, what kind of life do you want to live? What do you most value? Prioritize that. And remove all of the excess, all of the things that keep you from it. If you're still here by the end of my super long rant there, thank you. I will show kind of other tidbits of the rest of my day, but I just really wanted this to be a very different day in the life video. I wanted it to hopefully add some value. I hope that that has been the case. That's definitely my prayers, that this leads to positive changes in the lives of people that watch it. But I would like to do some more long form videos like these, kind of like a podcast style. So just let me know if this is okay. If you don't like it, you like it. I mean, just let me know your thoughts, because really I'm winging it, you guys. I don't know what the heck I'm doing with YouTube. I'm just trying different things. So I don't really know if what I'm doing is working, if you're liking it or not, unless I kind of hear from you and your opinion. So definitely give me your input. Even if it's bad, let me know what is it that you would like to see differently or that you would enjoy seeing. But for the rest of my day, getting back to the actual day in the life video, I'm putting my kid to sleep, and this to me marks mommy time. So my oldest will usually have piano time, and then my youngest will take a nap. Usually naps like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I love it. And that for me is quiet time. My oldest doesn't really nap, but she usually works on something quietly, works on a puzzle or does some reading, and she knows by now that that's quiet time. Like, she's not supposed to be talking or running around or playing around. And to me, this is the time that I have a bit of a break to just refresh. I sometimes use this to read the Bible, to read a book that I was working on. Sometimes, if I'm really tired, then I might take a nap myself. But this, whatever time, whatever thing that I do is me time. If you are a mother, I think that there can be a lot of guilt around having alone time, having just mommy time. But for me, I found that forcing my kids to respect the fact that right now is quiet time. Right now is designated mommy time. You do not disturb. You do not play around. This is my alone time, has been a huge help that just eases a lot of stress, because I'm able to take a breather and then I'm able to get back at it again with a whole completely different mindset, a mindset of love and patience and compassion, versus if I'm running on empty because I'm constantly go, go, go. So I definitely like to create these little spots in time where I'm able to just slow down. I would highly recommend in your own life, whatever schedule you have. I know that we all have different schedules and different phases of life. Like, even when I worked night shift, it was really, really tough to find those moments of rest. And I was able to find that actually when I worked at night shift. When I would drive to and from the hospital, I had like an hour and a half commute, sometimes 2, depending on traffic. I would chat with my husband, who at the time we were dating. And to me, that was like a really awesome thing to look forward to. One, it also helped me get home safely, but that was just rest time, relaxed time that I didn't have to think about the traffic, didn't have to think about what I was going to face at the hospital. So that's just an example. But whatever lifestyle you have, whatever schedule you have, find a slice of time where you can just ease, slow down, even if that's with yourself. So even when I worked in home nursing and I was driving here and there and all the time driving from home to home, I took that driving time and I made it my Yesy learning time. So I'd listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, and do things that would help me to grow as a person. Find those slices of time for you.
I've been thinking of making a video on happy couple habits, not because I'm a guru when it comes to relationships, but because I can definitely tell that there's lots of different things that my husband and I have done to keep the in love feeling. After 9 years of being together, I can genuinely say that I'm in love with my husband, and I'm just happy and excited and thankful that I get to be with him. And there's a lot of little things that we've done to really preserve that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But one of the things that I love to do, not because I have to, and not because he asked me to, and in fact, I don't even think that he would mind if I didn't do that, is that I grind his coffee for him. He loves coffee. Now, I like lattes, but he's that person that loves the fresh taste of espresso, and he's very precise and picky about his espressos. And he well, this was actually my doing. I buy the whole bean coffee and then I grind it for him because he hates grinding coffee. So he loves the freshly ground coffee taste, but he hates grinding coffee. And he was initially buying ground up coffee, and I told him, no, it's fine. Like, I'll buy the whole bean coffee and I'll grind it for you. And it may seem like such a silly thing, like such a little thing, like why would I even bother to do that? I could just buy the easy ground up coffee. To me, doing that for him is just a way of saying, I love you. I am thankful for the fact that you wake up at 4:30 for me and for my children. And for him, his daily coffee is like a must. So I saw that his little jar was empty now, so I'm going to grind his coffee for him. And I know for a fact that his love language is acts of service, so these little things for him make a huge difference. And actually, coincidentally, my love language is also acts of service. So I think for us, it is such a beautiful thing, because the more I do for him, the more loved he feels, and the more he does for me, which is awesome. But I definitely recommend, if you are in a relationship or want to be in a relationship, to check out the book, The 5 Love Languages, or The 5 Languages of Love. I can't remember. I always get the names mixed together. But I'll link the book down in the description box below so you can check it out. I think it's been of huge, huge, huge help to me in our relationship, and really just even in friendships in general, just relationships at all, any kind of relationship, because it helps you recognize your love language. How do you best perceive love, and how do you best express love? Because sometimes our love languages, we're not so lucky to have the same love language, and we can be speaking totally different languages. And I mentioned that in a previous video where my husband would actually like make things for me because he thought that like giving me gifts would make me happy. And I hated that because I think I'm totally acts of service, but I'm also quality time. Like I have both. Those are like my highest ways in which I perceive love. And he would often make me things thinking like I would be so happy, and I'd be like resentful, like, but you didn't spend time with me. And I wanted him to do things for me, not to give me things and make me things. So yeah, definitely check out that book. You can also check it through your library, through apps like Hoopla or Libby. But I also do have an Audible link down in the description box below where you can get a free trial of Audible for 30 days with a free audiobook, yours to keep, even if you cancel. So you can check that out too, and let me know what you think. I seriously think that I need to like start a book club, because I can think of so many different books that have totally changed my life. And I always feel like, my goodness, everything seems to change my life. I say, this changed my life, and this improved my life. But I'm not exaggerating. Books to me have been of tremendous help. I received a comment one day about how to find mentors, and mentors in different areas. And I'm like, buddy, I don't know. I don't have any mentors. I don't know anybody that does YouTube. Like, if you find that answer, let me know. But for me, books are totally free most of the time at your library, or you can get other ways of finding out books, trading books, used books on Amazon. And that is basically people's knowledge condensed into one book. To me, books have been of huge value. Even checking out free resources on YouTube have been also of tremendous help. If you're struggling to find a mentor in any kind of area, or you're wanting to learn how to do something new, books and audiobooks and videos, podcasts, all those sorts of things, check them out and really take advantage of the resources that you have, because a lot of times most of those things can be free for you. And they can totally change your life.
Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video and for your support. I genuinely hope that this video has given you some positive insights and just added more value in your life in whatever particular situation you're in. I'm so grateful for this YouTube channel, and I just can't wait for what is to come. Until next time, friends. Bye for now.